the first photo in the PI, I had kind of the Dutch boy haircut, which looks ridiculous now. And
you were
unfortunately,
a trendsetter. Well, I have done it again. I have invited someone into my kitchen that is quite honestly too tall to be here, but I could not pass up this opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm Jen Mueller. Welcome to I Cook, You Measure. My guest measurer today, well, he is a 7-time NBA All-Star, a 2-time Collegiate All-American. He is an NBA champion and a Basketball Hall of Famer. Welcome, Jack Sikma. I feel like we should all be cheering and high-fiving, except I can't even reach you.
well, let's try it. There we go. There we go. Well, I'm glad I could be here, and I'm looking forward to what you cook up here in the kitchen.
Here's what we are gonna make. We are gonna make a version of Marry Me Chicken. Normally, when you think chicken, you're probably thinking white wine. I actually went with red because it is gonna be more of a tomatoey based sauce. And this one is from Mark Ryan. It is a cab dominant blend. It is Water Witch. I'm gonna have you open this up. And here's the cool story behind this name. The bottle is named after Mark's grandfather, who was in fact a water witch in Eastern Washington. How cool is that?
That is cool. That's great. I've never opened a bottle of wine on TV before. So
That's the
how
first
am I
time
doing?
for everything.
How am I doing?
I cannot give you any coaching points because you're nailing it.
Right.
It looks like while you haven't opened a lot of wine on TV, you've opened plenty of wine.
I had, my opportunities to do so. So there we go.
There you go.
Okay, I'll pour a little for you.
I think that works. Maybe a
Okay.
little for you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Let's try this. Let's see what we got here.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ooh.
Tastes better than that water he's witching.
Yes, it does. And now it is time for you to get to work.
Okay.
I have already worked on the chicken because you don't need to see us dredge chicken or cook chicken. That is already done. So what we are ready to do now is add a couple of shallots, a few garlic cloves, and we're gonna get some olive oil in the pan and get that nice and happy. So if you would dice or small chop, whatever you're most comfortable with,
Just
the shallots and I would love to help you, but I am now like propping myself up. Yep. That looks good. I can offer no help because I actually cannot see around you. Were you always the tallest person in school?
I grew a little late actually got most of my height in high school, but if you look at the gene pool came into, there's some height in my family, so the likelihood of maybe not being 7 foot tall, but there's a lot of 6'6", 6'8" men in our family.
Okay, now here's my question. The NBA or the Basketball Hall of Fame profile says that you are a true 7-footer.
Yeah.
But you're also listed as 6'11". So which is it? Are you 7
Well,
feet or 6'11"?
that's a little bit of a story. The SID at Illinois Wesleyan University, again, a small school, unusual route to take to the NBA. I was measured at 6'11" when my junior year. And then in my senior year, I made a deal with him. I said, I think 7-footers are paid more, so why don't you put me at 7 foot? And he went along with it. So that's basically the story of the 6'11", 7 foot.
Now, I've actually heard other guys say they don't want to be listed as 7-footers because they feel like people have an idea of what they can and can't do with that size, and that if they're listed at 6'11", they feel like the coach is going to let them do more.
Well, my game was a little different than the power game. That actually it probably fits more the skill set that is required nowadays for bigs. So I just depended on my shooting ability, where I didn't have to get you know, my Sikma move is a step back away from the basket that creates some room so I can get my shot off. I shoot free throws really well. I practiced on it, so I really depended on my shooting.
I'm so glad that he mentioned his own move. He has his own move. Show me the move, Jack.
Oh God, I haven't done it for a while.
You can still do it.
You're gonna pass it to me in the post here. I take a step and then I inside pivot and it creates room. The defender's back here on my back. I turn, pivot, and I always pivot with the ball in the shooting position so that I pivot.
It's already up.
I call it, I catch it and kind of put it around the clock, and then I'm set here ready to shoot it. The premise there is if they're not on me, I'll shoot it. If they have to take a step towards me and commit to me, then I got a chance to go around them because they're committed. So it's just really a simple move with a little counter.
I'm gonna have you now work on some sun-dried tomatoes. Look, he makes that look so easy.
Okay, so
I would use the tip of the knife. We need about 1/4 cup, but if you add more, I'm not gonna be upset about it.
Okay.
So I'd pull out kind of whatever
1/4
you
cup.
like.
Okay. You
See
got
if
it.
he can eyeball this one.
Yeah. Well, let's see. And cut these up a little bit is what
Yes.
you're saying.
Yeah, that way we get them like bite size, like
Yeah.
small bite size so that they kind of work in the sauce.
Have you had anybody shed blood doing this show?
I would prefer not to even think about
That-
that, and
yeah.
no, nobody has.
Okay, so
I've
I'll-
taught a lot of knife skills though. Yeah, please don't be the first one to do that. I'm gonna have you measure some tomato paste. Okay, so kids, I'm making a small mess. Kids, you can get tomato paste in a can. They're gonna be like 6-ounce cans. Here's my challenge when you get it in a can. Now you've got to figure out something else to do with the rest of the tomato paste. Whereas tomato paste in a tube, I can put it easily back in the refrigerator and I don't have to worry about it. So if you could do a better job of not making a mess than me, measure a couple of tablespoons or a couple of teaspoons, we'll put it right in here.
This is a teaspoon right
That's
here?
2 teaspoons and that's exactly what we
Whoa,
need.
okay,
So just
just
fill
one.
that up to the top. Yep.
I think with maybe a little more.
There
I
you
think
go. If we don't hit it exactly, it'll be just fine. Okay, so now let's measure in some broth. So we actually have some liquid here.
Okay.
If you would take the chicken broth and give me about a cup, and we might even do like 1.25 cups here.
Okay. Can't go wrong with chicken broth. Oops.
That looks good.
That looks like a cup, I think.
I think that's perfect.
Oh,
I think
no,
that's
it's
gonna
a little
be
bit
about-
more.
Yeah,
Yep,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
going to be perfect. So now we'll get that going. How about this? We're going to add 4 cups of spinach to this mixture. We've got it right here. It
Oh,
looks like a
love
lot.
spinach.
We're going to add this, cook it down. We're going to take a break though while we're doing that so you don't see us making a mess, and we'll be right back.
When you shop in the Albertsons app, you can count on us to choose fresh produce, guaranteed. Even if you can't count on Mom to eat her veggies.
I was looking up some of your numbers, Jack. There are only 7 players in NBA history who have done what you have done. That is 17,000 points, 10,000 rebounds, 3,000 assists, 1,000 steals, and 1,000 block shots. That's incredible.
Well, again, I got to play a lot. That means there's a lot of minutes on the court.
Yeah.
And I played with some good teams and good teammates. So anyway, I feel really fortunate, and probably the biggest thing is I was healthy. I missed very few games, and feel fortunate about that. Plus, it probably makes a statement about what kind of game I had, which meant that I wasn't off the floor very much.
Yeah,
I kept my feet
they
on the
needed
floor.
you.
Yeah.
But when I read all of these stats, which one of those categories came easiest to you?
Probably the rebounds. I was always a good rebounder, and had a nose for the ball, and was pretty good at anticipating where it was going to come off. Good rebounders don't just get the ones that come to them; they have to go after them. And I had I was taught well, and again, was able to anticipate where that ball was going to come off the rim.
Which one of these categories did you have to work on the most?
You always work on your shooting the most. You just do. You can get yourself open and make all the moves you want, but if you can't get the ball in the hole, then you know, what good is that? So,
how about if we get some cream cheese out? We need about 3 ounces here. This is gonna make it nice and creamy. A lot of these recipes will use heavy cream. You can absolutely do that. We are gonna use a combination of cream cheese and half.
So you said 3 ounces. This is 8 ounces, so about a little more than a quarter of the.
But watch this. Watch this.
Oh, there we go.
There's measurements on the side.
okay.
So all we need to do is cut down.
3 ounces.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly how you do it.
Well,
That's okay.
I'll let you do the rest.
I'm not going to
Do
worry
what you
too
do
much
best.
about it. I'm not going to
That's
worry
what coaches always told me. Do what you do best.
Yeah, I'm great at making a mess. That's what I do best on the show. Okay, we've got this. I will work on breaking this up. Could you add about 3 tablespoons of half and half? So the tablespoon, yep, is that one right there. I'm just gonna get in here. We've turned the heat down to medium so that we don't burn our
So you want me to do this way?
Look at this. He doesn't need to be
1,
coached.
2, oops, a little
That's
extra
okay.
there.
That's okay.
3, perfect.
Perfect. And that's gonna make our cream sauce. How about if we add a little seasoning to this? Let's do 1.5 teaspoons of oregano. Let's do a little crushed red pepper.
Okay, 1.5 teaspoons. That's
And
a 2.
this is actually 1/2 teaspoon. Somewhere along the way, I have lost my 1 teaspoon measuring. I don't know
Okay,
what's
this is
happening.
1/2 teaspoon.
That's 1/2 teaspoon.
So you want 3 of these then?
And then however much, I don't know how you feel about spice. I like a little kick, but I would add whatever you think is comfortable.
2 of these?
I think that's perfect. It's gonna add to our color. Tell you what, let's put the chicken back in. So when we did the chicken
It's smelling
before,
good. It looks good.
So when we did the chicken before, it's mostly cooked through. It's just gonna finish cooking in the sauce and simmering. I'm also gonna add just a little bit of gnocchi to make it a full meal.
Fantastic.
In
We'll
the
get that
pan.
starch in there, right?
Yeah, we're gonna let this get happy and warmed through in the pan, and we're not that far away from eating, but we've got more of this conversation coming your way next.
Hey there, it's me. Food. Whenever you need me, I'm ready for you. Especially when you're busy. And you're always busy.
So awesome.
But no matter what, we find time for this. So go ahead and enjoy the moment. Because there's plenty to go around. Keep it easy, my friends. Sincerely, food. Sincerely, Safeway.
It's really hard for me not to just peek on what's cooking. Technically, you want to keep things covered. You don't want to like open the oven a lot. You don't want to do that because it releases the heat and now you have to like build it back up. But I just want to peek and see how good it is. Because I can smell it and I know how
That's
good
part of it
smells.
too, sure.
Yeah. I don't think you've had a chance to peek at this list yet, but it is time for us to do Virtual Master Chef.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna give you 5 ingredients. You tell me what you would make with these 5 ingredients. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Chicken,
Okay.
capers, white beans, Triscuits, Parmesan cheese.
Try to breaded chicken with using the Triscuits, little beans on the side. What else do we have here?
Capers and Parmesan cheese.
Yeah, capers. Can I add other things too?
Sure.
Yeah, a little lemon with the lemon
Yeah,
caper
see,
and the
that's-
chicken, and that's a go-to at our place too. So have I worked all ingredients?
And what would you do with the parm?
Oh, over the top too.
Nice.
Just and on the beans also. Just give it a little
Perfect.
cheese kick. So
Knowing to do the Triscuits as the breading, that was key to the whole thing. And I was actually thinking a version of chicken piccata, so you nailed it.
Yep.
Yeah, nailed it.
Perfect.
Perfect. That wasn't hard. You know what was hard is watching the Sonics leave.
It's unbelievable that all those things fell in place. And again, there's the political side, there's the arena side, there's the ownership issues at the time. And it's really was sad for the fan base. I mean, there's a generation now that have grown up without an NBA team here in town, and that has an impact. Seattle was coming into its own as being known as a hotbed for future stars, and there's still some great basketball here. Thank God we have the Huskies in town, but we need a team back, and I have no question that our fan base will go crazy and support that team.
What is the city missing without having basketball?
Another opportunity to bring the city together when things go well. A winter time entertainment and again, tickets are more expensive, but there's nothing better than to see a family of four, every once in a while getting a chance to go to the game, and the screaming and yelling and just the excitement of it. I think it's great that the Kraken are here, and I think it's their fourth year now, and I know a few of the players, and I also know what teams like that how they can impact the community from a charitable standpoint, and reach and touch people, especially many people that maybe aren't as privileged, and so it's a missing link. I mean, and we're a big city where we should have a basketball team. That's the bottom line. So hopefully it's not far from happening. I think we're getting closer, but the powers that be at the league have to decide whether they want to expand or not. I think now that we got Climate Pledge, we have an arena, so that takes that challenge away, and we'll see what happens.
Are you involved in the efforts to bring the Sonics back?
I just follow it a little bit, and when I go to a Kraken game, I'll usually say hello to the powers that be with that group, and but no, I listen to what comes out of the NBA, and every once in a while somebody says something and everybody gets excited. It's still going to come down to the ownership within the league is going to have to decide whether expansion is something they want to do. If it is, then I think Seattle is got to be near the top of the list, if not the top.
Yeah. Okay. Would you rather be known for the page boy haircut or consistently have to sit and get a perm, which you did for part of your career? I mean, I realize that that's what we all did. We all did that in the 80s, folks.
Yeah, I remember the first time I was doing an appearance at Nordstrom's, and Alana was one of Gene Juarez's top hair persons, and she came out and said, "Jack, you should curl your hair. Why don't you come back in a month or so, let it grow long, I'll do it for free."
What year was this?
It was 1980.
Okay, all right,
And-
so this
and
all makes
that's-
sense. This makes sense.
and
She
then-
probably had blue eyeshadow too.
So,
I say that. My mom had blue eyeshadow in the 80s and a perm.
so anyway, I did that, and then that year was when U.S. boycotted the Olympics in Moscow.
Yep.
So the NBA put together a few All-Star games for the college players that made the Olympic team that
Okay.
couldn't go. And then we had a game in Seattle like in late June. And so I came out, I was on that team, and that was my first game with the perm. So it made quite an impression across the Sonic fandom. And anyway, it was the first game my wife ever saw me play. And so I tricked her. My perm, I tricked her with my perm.
So at what point did she figure out that you were spending as much time on your hair as she was on hers?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, it's a fun story, and it's one we tell all the time. But yeah, it was great. And again, there's differences in perms. My first perms were my best. So, and then they got a little too tight and wiry and spongy, and I finally gave it up.
You know what I didn't think I was going to talk to a basketball Hall of Famer about was all the different types of perms. And I totally get this. This is the one thing that Jack Sikma and I have in common. Well, that and the fact that we made an awesome meal, which we are going to eat next.
Outfits for Jen on I Cook You Measure are provided by Lululemon and their experiential store in Seattle's University Village. One of just 4 Lululemon stores in the country with a fitness and event studio hosting weekly classes and community events. Visit the U Village store and get connected.
As promised, we are plating after a great conversation. We've got the gnocchi in here. We've got the Marry Me chicken. We could eat this just like that. I am never going to turn down a little bit of cheese, though. If you would like to sprinkle some cheese, and I think a little fresh thyme on the top of this.
Do you want to sprinkle your own, or you want?
I'm going to
me?
trust you. I trust you. So far, this has been fantastic, and you have done this.
Good.
Perfect.
And then you
Now,
want
some thyme.
Oh, there we
Do
go.
you know how to do this?
No, I'm going to watch you.
Okay, so I would take a sprig, and I would lightly just pull down, and we're going to get the leaves right on there like that. And now we've added, ooh, do you smell that? Oh, just a little fresh smell to that.
Well, there we go. I got it. I went the wrong way. You got to go against the grain.
You do have to go against the grain.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's do this.
Should we go?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, dig in. Look at this.
Dig it. Okay. It's steaming, so I have some doubts and some reservations about burning my tongue. Okay, I'm gonna get a little tomato on there.
Very good.
And then a little bit of the wine. Ooh. I
Well,
like that.
I've had a blast.
I've had a blast too. Thanks for sharing your career. This has been really fun. I mean, my neck hurts, so I'm gonna have to go see my chiropractor. Your neck hurts probably hurt the other direction too.
Actually, this is a position that I'm used to.
You're used to towering over people who are only 5'4". But we have had so much fun. I love the stories from a Hall of Famer, and I really appreciate you for watching, because your support and watching the show helps us put food on the table of people in our community who are not as fortunate to be able to share a meal every night together. You know this, for every episode, a donation is made to a nonprofit working to end food insecurity in our community. So thanks for measuring, thanks for being a part of the show, and thanks to you for watching. My mom used to give me perms. They stink.
Yeah, they do.
They stink?
They stink, and
They
you're under there,
sting
and
your hair, your
yeah,
head?
the first, and it always took, for me, it always took about. They were perfect about 2 weeks out.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I Cook You Measure is presented by Safeway, who welcomes everyone at the table through the Nourishing Neighbors program. You can donate in stores or by visiting nourishingneighbors.com.